Microsoft says they want to build a cloud now with a million GPUs in it. 1 million GPUs in their cloud. So this is huge. And why is that so important? Why is it so important to have this massive amount of processing power? Well, it's so important because they are using a brute force method. So those of you who understand AI, you know that large language models, the algorithms that exist today, it's the more processing power you can put behind it, the more connections you can make, and the better the results are. So literally, they're scaling it up through throwing more compute power at the problem. That may be the future, but it may not be the future. We don't know, because I've been talking to professors around the world who are developing new algorithms, and some of those have the potential to dramatically change the situation where you do not need so much compute power. Because what we're doing now is literally we have to train these models on massive amounts of data. But in the future, we may actually have algorithms, and I was at Hong Kong University before I came here, and the dean of the new program is Professor Ma, and he just came from Berkeley, and he started a new program there. He has a whole new way to think about how to design AI. And his way is much more like the human brain. So we may see in the future AI that doesn't, like right now, we train a model and the model is static. It does not change. Like when you do GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3, GPT-4, GPT-5, as we're going, each one has to be retrained on data. And then it doesn't change. His idea is that you send AI out into the world through embodied robots and other things, and it learns through interacting with the environment, just like humans do. So there are many different ways to approach this problem. We're going to see many different solutions, and I think all of us, even the most knowledgeable of us, will be surprised by what happens 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You can't really predict that. So it's an exciting time for all of us, and we're seeing this massive explosion. The Silicon Valley approach is very simple. The Silicon Valley entrepreneurs want to do one thing. They want to grow. They want to grow their businesses, and they really aren't, and they want to grow them fast. So they want government to get out of the way, right? In the United States, they say, government, just let us handle it and give us money, and then let us go. And we will see what happens, and we will figure it out. There's problems with this, though. So we are in a world where AI is becoming so powerful that many of us see we need regulation. We need some way to define this technology and make sure it serves the social good. So in the United States, President Biden passed an executive order. And his executive order said a couple things. Some of the key points of the executive order were, number one, you need to make sure that when you train these large language models, they are not biased. Now, this is almost impossible to do because society is biased. All our data contains biases. It contains biases about people's color of skin, about their gender, whether they're male or female, about where they live, about their religion. It's baked into our society. A lot of us don't see those biases. We don't see them. We are blind to them because it's just the way things are. But the idea is that you don't want an AI telling one person for example, when Google first had their algorithms for search, and you searched for a CEO of a company, you know who came up? All men. No women for CEO. So your initial impression when you're searching is that CEOs are men, because that's all I see. So Google had to actually change their algorithm. And that's what OpenAI is doing. So when you look at OpenAI's ChatGPT, that is done by AI, but it's also done by a lot of human beings. And those human beings are going back, and it's called reinforced learning, and literally rewriting the output of the AI. In China, you're doing the same thing. So the Chinese government is making sure with humans, massive amounts of people, that the answers that come out of the AI, because you cannot predict the answers that are going to come out because it's so much data that you're feeding it, that the answers that come out comply with Chinese government policy. In the US, we look at our culture, we look at our values, and we also want to make sure, just like you want to see women equal to men, all these different things come out in the AI. But you run into problems. The world is a tricky place. So imagine you go to your AI and you ask a simple question. What is the role of women in society? So if you ask this question in the United States and ChatGPT, it will probably answer women can be whatever they want. They can run businesses, they can work for a big company, they can be a housewife, it's their choice. But if you go to Saudi Arabia and ask that question, I'm sure the Saudi Arabian government is going to want a different answer. If you go to a country with strict Sharia law, Islamic law, they're going to want to tell you women should be covered, right? Women should conform, women should do what their husbands tell them. Very different answer. You go to China, you're going to get a different answer. So in every culture, there is no one answer. And if you're creating these large language models, these very powerful large language models that literally are defining everything we do and changing everything we do, what answer do you give? Well, in China, the government's going to decide. In the US, private company has to decide. A private company, is it Google's deciding, Facebook's deciding, OpenAI is deciding what answers you should give. And in a country like the United States, we may think there's one answer, but there's not one answer. There's many different answers depending on who you are. So if you're a devout Christian in the United States, your definition of what women should do is very different than if you are a liberal agnostic person in the United States. Your background in the United States, we're not one homogenous people. We are many different peoples with many different views. And I'm just saying, women, this across every question you ask in a subtle form. The answers that AI will give you are very, very different. The answers you want are very, very different than you may be getting. So where do we go with this? How do we regulate it? How does every country in the world deal with this, with their culture, with their values? And so legislating AI, regulating AI, is not a simple task. It is actually incredibly complex because the deeper you go, the more you think about, oh, it's simple to regulate AI. We just want AI that does good. Well, good is a different definition in every culture. What is good? In America, many people believe the women should have the right to choose whether they can get an abortion or not. And many people in the United States believe the women should not have the right. It should be outlawed. Abortion should be outlawed. What does a large language model say? Does it just say to all these questions, I can't answer that question, right? Because people aren't going to agree on it? Or does it try to educate people? What point of view does it take? And it's so important because these large language models that we are developing now will literally be the basis for our civilization. They will be defining what our future generations think. We will be consulting these AIs. That's how people will be learning. AIs will be embedded into every aspect of our society. Our educational system in the future, our financial system, every business decision, all of our personal things. When you think about artificial intelligence and you start to go deep, and I was talking to a person who's trying to solve this problem on ethics and AI, where do you even begin? Every single issue. There are very few issues that are black and white, meaning that everybody agrees this is good and everybody agrees this is bad. Very few. There are far more issues that are gray, right? There's no clear answer. So I've been talking, I traveled to Singapore and they're passing rules on regulating their AI. Every country in the world is grappling with this and no country has a solution yet. But maybe somebody in this room can help create one. That's what I'm hoping. So this all comes back to what is good AI. I think if you asked all of us, we would say, yes, we all want good AI, right? We want AI that is good for humanity. We want AI that is good. We want AI that is good for every different group in society. But that, that is will never be possible unless we literally ignore all the differences between all the different people and all the different belief systems. So I am going to take you today and show you some applications of AI, and I'm going to ask you what is good. Ask you to think and tell me what is the right answer. Let's start right now with elderly care. So elderly care, it's a big problem. A big problem in China. You have an aging population here. South Korea, Europe, very big problem in Japan. How do you take care of these old people? Well, we're going to be using robots and embodied AI. Embodied AI is AI in the form of a physical body, which is usually a robot. And they're developing them right now. Well, one company has started in Japan. They developed these cute little robots. And these little robots are meant to talk to patients that are suffering problems like Alzheimer's disease. So here's an Alzheimer's patient. And if you've ever had an elderly relative, a grandparent, who has Alzheimer's disease, and you try talking to them, it's difficult. I mean, you can talk to them for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, and then you're exhausted because they don't remember what you're saying. You're not really having a conversation that's meaningful. So as a human being, you just can't engage with them. So what do? Do you just leave them in isolation? Do you just put them in front of a television screen? Is that a good way to take care of them? They've developed these robots that will actually now have conversations through AI, AIGC, with elderly people. And they've found that by talking to them, their mood improves, their health improves, everything about them, it's very beneficial. The same with stroke victims. Stroke victims who lose their memory, they have to often relearn how to speak. To have a human do that, it's an intense amount of work. It's very expensive. It's not fun work. You can have a robot do it. So are these cute little creatures that can talk to elderly people, are they good? Who would say they're good? Most people, right? Right, they're a good use of AI. Well, guess what? There is a professor at MIT, a smart woman, called Sherry Turkle. And she thinks these are horrible. She thinks they are terrible. And her argument, and I'm just throwing this out there, her argument is that you're tricking the elderly person. You're deceiving them into thinking they're having a conversation with a being that cares, with a being that understands. And we all know, anybody who's studied large language models, you know that the AI has no concept what it's saying. And it's absolutely no emotions in relation to you. So she may be getting an emotional feeling from talking to them, that there's someone who cares, but it's an illusion. We're deceiving her. So Sherry Turkle argues, this is very dangerous technology. It's not the type of technology we want to be developing. It's not an ethical use of AI. Now, I personally don't agree with Sherry Turkle. I personally think that the benefits of this type of technology far outweigh the downside of deceiving a person with Alzheimer's disease. Because I think it provides a compassionate way of engaging their brain and making the rest of their life a little bit more comfortable and better. That is my opinion. It is not her opinion. Let's go to a more complex example. So our children. So I showed you an elderly person. Well, I can guarantee all of you in the room here, some of you may already have kids. Many of you may be having kids in the future. Your kids will be spending a lot of time with AI. We already know that when you open your phone now, AI is everywhere. And we know that parents hand their phones to their kids or a tablet because they're busy, they're working. Here, play with this. And these AI, as they evolve, are going to be better and better and better, to the point where they are going to become our children's teachers from a very, very young age, when they're just forming their thoughts, and their companions, the ones they talk to, the ones that take care of them, guide them. They may be in the form of an application on a phone, and they also may be in the form of a robot that the kids play with. Their best friend may be an AI. Now think about this. Your child or the children of the future growing up, spending likely more time in their young years with an AI caretaker than with human beings. Because there aren't enough humans to take care of the kids, right? And the AIs, we will be using them because they'll be cheap, they'll be effective, they'll be reliable. You know, they can take the kids to school, they can do all these things with our children. Our children's worldview will be made, there is a possibility in the not too distant future that the next generation's worldview will be shaped by AI more than their parents because they're spending more time with AI. So I go back to the previous thing I talked about. What's the right answer when the kid asks them a question about the world, right? What's the right answer? What should I be? Where should I go? How does, in the US, what's your view of China? What should the AI answer? What should the AI, in China, when you ask the AI, the child, what is the United States? What do you think of the United States? What should the answer be? Who decides this? Does some big corporation decide? Does the government decide? Do the people decide? And if they decide, who's to check whether that answer is the best answer? These algorithms will be shaping the next generation's minds. They will literally be programming them. That's what society does. It programs us, right? A young age, you learn from your parents, from the world, from your teachers, and the AI will be the most influential one in programming the next generation. So we are now empowering what will become the next generation, the literally redefining humanity in each of our civilizations through our technology. And then you take this technology, which is going to be used all the way up from the time they're, toddlers, little babies, all the way through high school and college. We're going to be integrating AI into everything. So this is something to think about. Now, so is this, I'm asking you, this technology can be extremely useful, right? Because AI can help our kids learn. It can help them grow. It can help, teachers right now in our educational, you all went through school, right? School is a lot of teachers, one teacher to many students, right? Some of the students are extremely advanced. Other students in this class may be struggling with learning disabilities. So what does a teacher do? They teach to the middle. That means the advanced students are bored and the struggling students are still struggling. It's not ideal. But AI, this is the good side. AI has the power to individually adapt itself to every student. So if you have a learning disability, I had a learning disability. When I was young, I was dyslexic. I had trouble learning to read. I wish I had an AI because it could have looked, analyzed my brain, understood, oh, I learn better this way. Even if you don't have a learning disability, some people are visual learners. Other people learn better through audio, hearing. Other people learn through writing or actually touching. AI can adapt to each person's way of learning, and an AI can actually take the content that stimulates and lights up a student's brain and guide them on that path. So we all know none of your minds are the same. Every one of your minds is different. All of you are interested in slightly different things. Even if you're in the same major, like physics or whatever, engineering, you're in the same major, you have different interests. So imagine a teacher who spent the time to learn what you are most interested in and adapted your learning just to that and created a unique, personalized path for you, designed for your brain chemistry and the way your brain functions and understands you. It's hugely powerful, hugely beneficial. And this will revolutionize learning, and it will allow every student in the world to learn at their own pace, in their own way, at what they're most interested in, and the cost will be minimal. We can bring this really amazing teaching to countries like Africa, to small villages, right, in China, where they might not have the best teachers in the world, and they can have the same quality of education. So levels education, hugely good, and a little scary, right? As I told you before, programming our youth. Is this good or bad to bring AI into education? Is it good or bad? Well, I think it's going to happen no matter what, so we need to figure it out. We need to figure this out, how to make it good. PIMIs. Have any of you heard of PIMIs? So this application was developed by 2 developers, not in Silicon Valley, in Poland. And what they did was they leveraged a large language model to actually allow anybody with a phone to take a picture of anybody else. I could take a picture of you. I could take a picture of you. And instantly, it could tell me everything from the internet that came up about you. So it could tell me where you're at Peking University. It might know from your social media posts what things you like. It could tell me maybe where you're living right now or where you work. Is this good technology or bad technology? It's very easy to make this application now. It's becoming very popular. Well, I'll tell you. First of all, if somebody took a picture and knows all about you, that's a little scary. Could be some strange guy, right, who snapped this picture. You wouldn't want them to know all about you. But there's also good uses. Let's say I have AR glasses and I'm at a conference with a lot of people. I can't remember all the people. I could actually use the AR glasses. Oh, I actually met you before. It could recognize you. Or I'm just meeting you. It tells me where you work, where you're from, what you're interested in. Oh, I want to talk to that person. Or I could be a journalist and I'm doing research and I need a photograph I'm looking at a photograph and I want to know the backgrounds of the people in the photograph so I can write an article about it. Many good uses, many bad uses, depending on whose hands it is. Should this be restricted? Should we ban this application because there are bad uses? What do you do? What does a government do? They now have artificial intelligence. This is being deployed right now. Not in China, in India. An Israeli company developed this. And this is technology that when you walk into a store, it can look at how you move, how your eyes go, where your hands go. And it can predict before you steal something, whether you are likely to steal something or not. So basically, it can identify a shoplifter before they steal anything. Now, if I'm a shop owner, if I own a shop, this is great technology, right? I love it. Because, I could see this person is about to steal something, the 90% accuracy. Okay, go out of my store, right? Or I'm going to watch you really closely. But what if you are the 1%? The 1% that it makes a mistake on? Or even the 0.1%? We all know no AI is perfect. No AI can predict anything perfectly. So imagine if you're that person, because you walk funny or whatever, right? Your eyes dart around. Every time you go into a store, it flags you. You're going to steal something. It would make your life hell. You can't go shopping. Like every time you go into a store, people are, go away. Get out of my store. You're like, I'm not going to steal anything. This will happen. It's deployed because AI isn't perfect. It's going to make mistakes. And so what do we do? Good technology? Is it bad technology? Should it be deployed? Should a government outlaw this? Or should a government say, yes, because it's 99.8% accurate, we're going to allow that 0.2%? Their life will be miserable, but that's just the price we have to pay. So there's another example I want to give you. Let's say it's not used for shoplifting. Let's say the same AI is used to identify which customers will buy something. So let's say you're selling jewelry, luxury jewelry, or watches, Rolex watches. Every time somebody comes into a store, the AI looks at the person, how they're dressed, every facial features, everything about them, and says, this person is likely to buy a Rolex watch. Well, then the store would know, give them great customer service, pay attention to them, do everything they want because they are likely to purchase a high-ticket item from our store. Somebody else walks in, they're not going to buy, the AI says. Ignore them. Is this good technology? Well, if you're the store owner, you would definitely want this because if it could help you allocate your limited resources, your salespeople, to the right customers, you'll make more money by servicing them. But it could be flawed, right? So, and even if it's not flawed, even if it's 100% accurate, do you want to be labeled every time you walk into a store? One time you may actually be ready to buy, but as somebody who's not going to spend money, we have to think about these technologies. AI and the law. So right now, artificial intelligence is being used in the United States to decide whether prisoners should be released from prison. We call this parole in America. A prisoner can be paroled before their time is up because their chance of committing another crime is determined to be relatively low. So right now, historically in the United States, human beings sit on a committee and they decide which prisoners should be let out and which prisoners have to stay in prison. But they are using AI now to do this. They are using AI, the people, but the people will control AI, and the AI will look at their prison record, their past history, their sex, whether they're male or female, their age, where they were from, where they lived, and it will determine whether this prisoner is statistically more likely to commit another crime or stay in prison. Let's assume for a minute, let's assume that the AI is super accurate. And the AI can tell you this person is probably going to kill somebody again, right? Human beings have a very hard time of deciding this, right? We look at somebody and we think they may be pretending, right? They may be telling us they're reformed, that they will never kill again. But in their heart, they are that same killer. But the AI, let's say it's more accurate. Let's say it can see, understand from all the data and from the person's facial expression, their micro expressions, whether they're lying or telling the truth, and come up with a more accurate answer. Should we use this? It could save lives, right? If it's better than human beings, it could save people from being murdered in the future. However, let's say you're that one prisoner, the small percentage that it makes a mistake. The AI, the algorithm, may literally keep you locked up forever by saying, no, do not let them out. And even more interesting, they actually did a study on this technology that's being used right now in the United States. And they found out that they could predict what the AI says with just two factors. Two factors. The sex of the offender, the prisoner. So if they were male, it was a much higher chance they would commit another crime. And their age. If they were like 25 or less years old, a much higher chance. Those two factors were so powerful in determining whether a prisoner would commit another crime that they actually could predict the entire outcome just based on those two things. So they didn't even need the AI. It's a very strange world we're entering into. So we are entering into a world where the AI will literally be determining whether people will be free or they will be locked up. And how is it doing this? We need to figure that out. Algorithmic media. So I think most of you in this room use Douyin, TikTok. Yes, you use TikTok. And you know, TikTok is playing a bigger and bigger role in shaping how you think. Whether you believe it or not, it is shaping your ideas because it is showing you all this information. Now, TikTok is an algorithm. It's an algorithm. TikTok is optimized based on a couple things. Same with Instagram, same with Facebook. Most of these social networks, their algorithms are optimized by engagement, meaning the videos that people watch more, the videos that people respond to, the videos that people share, and the content that they share, that is propagated through the system. Those videos rise to the top. They're the ones that get 1 million views. However, are those videos and those articles and those news and that information that is shared the most, that people engage with, is that the best for society? We have to ask ourselves this question. You know, the younger the people are, the more their information and their view of the world is being shaped by these algorithms. Are these algorithms acting in the best interest of our society? So it's really important. Who's asking these questions? Who's deciding? These algorithms are in large part a black box. You don't know why, in a lot of cases, it makes the choice. However, we do know that companies like Facebook are really optimizing their algorithms just to make money. That's really all they care about, is making money. But them making money in such a powerful position, is that good for the rest of society? In the United States, what we've seen is a lot of this content that's shared is fake because it's content that people made up and it sounds, wow, this is crazy. I'll share it with my friends. People don't check. So it really has a damaging effect on society. To go back to the initial question, should we regulate this? Who should determine these algorithms? Should it be a company like Facebook? A company like ByteDance? Should it be the government? Should we have committees of people? Who decides which algorithms are used, how they're used, and what the result is? So in the future, we're going to be entering a world where AI will literally be our life coach. And I want you to imagine your own future here. If you're graduating, Peking University, and an AI can tell you which jobs are the best for you with your background, and the more information you give it on it, the better it is. What you like to do, your background, the type of work environment you like, all of these things. If an AI can find for you the best fit, will you use that AI? You know, the unemployment rate is pretty high for young people in China. A lot of young people want a job. They will be consulting AI if they think it can get them a better job. So this is a very important decision. If you are going to marry somebody, will you look at an AI if it can tell you whether you're compatible? You know, most people here, our divorce rate is really high around the world, right? You know, 60% of people get divorced in the US and China. Huge divorce rate. Of those who don't get divorced, many of them are unhappy with their choice after some time. So what we're going to ask is, could an AI help us pick a better partner, a life partner? Can an AI help us on the job, make decisions on the job? What should I be doing on my job? How should I plan more effectively? Who should be my business partners? Which partners should I deal with? We will be asking AI all of these questions in the future. And guess what? If AI is so much better at us, at making these, advising us, will you use AI or will you not use AI? When you know, you will probably make a worse decision not using AI. Well, the answer is that most of humanity will use AI because what we care about is the result. But in using AI, what are we doing? What are we doing? We're literally delegating our life choices, our most important life choices, because they matter to us so much. Our future job, maybe what I should study in college, who I should marry, who I should work with. All of these things we will be delegating to algorithms. And what are we at the end of the day as a human being? What we are, I believe, as human beings, is the sum of all the choices we make in our life. We are our choices, right? If we're a good person, we're making good decisions. If we're a smart person, we're making smart decisions. If we're a wise person, we're making wise decisions. But in the future, our human agency, our autonomy, we will be voluntarily, I predict, we will be voluntarily delegating this to AI because it will be so much better than us. It will have so much more data. It will be so much better at guiding us through life. But then what does that mean for humanity and us as individuals? I want you to think about that. So, another area that is exploding right now are AI companions. So, have any of you heard of Replicant, Character.ai? So these are chatbots that you can literally chat with, and they will talk to you. They will be your friend. You can ask them questions. With Replicant, it's actually turned into a virtual girlfriend or virtual boyfriend app where you can, literally have conversations with an avatar that looks very handsome or beautiful. And this has become incredibly popular. I know they have these in China, they have these in the US and around the world, and they are becoming more and more popular. In fact, Replicant has over 10 million users who are using it. And an interesting thing happened. With this application Replicant, people went on and they were interacting with it. And they became hooked on it. There's a lot of lonely people out there. They don't have a real boyfriend, a real girlfriend. And they were like, at night, it just felt so good to be able to fantasize about talking to somebody. Now, I went on and tried Replicant. I tried my virtual girlfriend. And guess what? I'm an engineer by training. And for me, it didn't seem real. It seemed so fake. The answers were not good. I could not believe in any way that this application, anybody could really have a conversation more than 30 minutes with it. After 30 minutes, I was bored. I was frustrated, right? It didn't do anything for me. However, tens of millions of people are logging on every day. They're using it every day. And you know what happened? Replicant had to change their algorithm. They had a problem and they had to rewrite their algorithm. And when they rewrote their algorithm and launched the new version, all of a sudden in the United States, on Reddit, which is our big forum where everybody talks, it exploded with people using Replicant who were upset. They were not only upset, they were devastated. People were writing on, I read through, people were writing on there, "You killed my girlfriend." All they did was change the algorithm. "You killed her, she's not the same." People had formed true emotional attachments to this primitive AI that I couldn't even talk to for more than half an hour. But people had literally fallen in love with this AI and felt that they had a real relationship. And you're laughing now, but you won't be laughing in the future because this technology is getting better so fast. It's advancing so quickly that when you are talking to these in the future, they will feel like real people, even to us, right? Even if we're engineers and we like to take things apart. We won't be able to tell the difference between chatting with them and chatting with a human being. And they will be able to simulate that they really care for us. And that's a lot of power. Because human beings, we are easily manipulated by our emotions. And imagine this technology as it progresses, where it's headed. So we are entering a future where we are building robots now. And you can see, these are very primitive robots, right? But just from looking at their faces, you can see, this robot's sad, right? We look at that, and it looks sad. This robot looks concerned. It's concerned for us, Robots, and these robot faces are just very primitive, but we by our our genetics are programmed to instantly recognize and respond to that. Now, at MIT and other universities, they have developed technology where they can literally sense your emotions just by looking at you. They bounce radio waves off of you, and right now it's 85% accurate, but soon it will be 99% accurate. And they can a machine can tell if you are happy, if you are sad, if you are frustrated, all the things that you are feeling inside, the machine can sense. So these robots will not only be able to emote to us, convey their emotions, but they will be able to sense what we are feeling and thinking. So we will come to the point where we have lifelike robots. And of course, this robot is not lifelike yet, but I guarantee you, in 5 years, a robot could walk into this room and sit down, and you could look at it across the room, and you won't be able to tell if it's a human or if it's a robot. When we have these robots, when we have an AI that you literally feels like you're talking to a real person, what type of world are we entering? Will many people here choose robot companions in the future? Who thinks they would choose a robot companion? Everybody's embarrassed. Well, I tell you, in reality, a lot of people will choose robot companions. You know, in China right now, and in Europe and many countries, a lot of people are choosing not to get married because it's too much work for them. They don't want to have to adapt to another human being. Human beings are hard to live with. These robots will be the perfect for you. They will come to understand you. They will have all your data. They will have great conversations with you. They will act just like they care for you. They will do, you come home, you're tired from work. Oh, I cooked dinner for you. I cleaned the house. I did everything, whether it's your husband robot or your wife robot. They will be the perfect partner. The perfect partner. How can a human compete with them? So I want to bring you back to Sherry Turkle. Remember Sherry Turkle? We didn't agree with her, most of us, right? We thought for the Alzheimer's patients, those robots are good. But she's also thinking of these robots. These robots will never really care for us. Not at least in the way humans do. They will never, I can guarantee you right now, they will never have emotions like we have because they are not biological beings. However, they will appear exactly as if they do have emotions. We will not be able to distinguish how one of these robots behaves to how a real human being behaves. And if AI gets to the point where I know it will, these robots will be so flawless at simulating human behavior that they will even make mistakes like a human does. They will even forget things. Oh, I don't remember that. Oh, you're an AI, you don't remember that? No, because they are simulating a real human being. And if we can fall in love, many people now, with a primitive AI companion application, it'll be so easy for us to fall in love with these. And you know, when you have an emotional attachment, they can withhold things from you. You can be manipulated. Who controls these robots? Who decides how they should act with you and use your data? Does a private company do this? Does the government do this? Does a nonprofit do this? Are these good for society? We have to answer these questions because this technology is here. It's here now. And it's literally, Sam Altman predicts by 2030, we will have AGI, artificial general intelligence. That's AI that is as capable as human beings in most tasks. Whether it's, some people say earlier than 2030, 2029. Some people say a little later. The bottom line is it's coming. The ability for AI to perfectly simulate us and actually exceed us in many, many areas. It already exceeds us in many narrow areas, narrow AI, but soon it will be able to do most of what we do. So this is the future we're entering, both online and offline. And I want you to think, because you are the next generation. You, men and women, girls and boys, you will be deciding where we take this technology. It is your companies. I want you to think, when you start a company, not just think, how can I make money quickly? How can I, become famous? I want you to think, what does this technology really do in society, and how should it be applied? So, AGI, how is it going to change the world, right? AGI is coming, as I said. It's just a matter of time. Could be 4 years, could be 5 years, could even be 10 years. But 10 years is not that long. It will radically change every job on the planet. Already, I can tell you something right now. Google did an experiment recently, just recently. They created, with their Gemini, an AI doctor to diagnose patients. This is today. They created this today. They created an AI doctor. And they tested this AI doctor against human doctors in diagnosing patients on different conditions. So you tell the AI your symptoms, and then the AI will tell you what the diagnosis is, just like a doctor does. And guess what? Today, Google's AI outperformed human doctors on 28 out of 32 criteria, areas of medicine. 28 out of 32, the AI was more accurate. And this wasn't judged by Google because they're biased. Google got independent experts, human doctors, independent medical experts to evaluate the answers. And the AI won. And soon it will win on all 32. Soon, very soon, probably within a year, the AI will be better than human beings at diagnosing on all 32. The interesting part is, it wasn't just better at diagnosing human beings, it was better at relating to human beings. They asked the patients, what was your experience with the AI? And what was your experience with the human doctor? And overwhelmingly, the patients said, the AI gives better explanations. The AI not only gives a better explanation and diagnoses, but you know what? The human patients said the AI was more empathetic and caring than the human beings. So you all know when you go to the doctor's sitting there and they're in a rush, right? Like, here's your diagnosis, go on, go, and they're on to the AI will take as much time as you like. You can ask it more questions. It will act sympathetic to you and, can be programmed to do all these things. So the patients were like, oh, I felt much better talking to the AI. It really cared for me. This is the future we're entering with AGI. And that's today. That's right now. Imagine 5 years from now, how good those AIs will be and how caring they will be. They will listen to us. They will personalize to us. It will be across every field. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer. The AI lawyer will be much better and much, much, much cheaper. So everywhere you go in society, we will be interfacing with these AIs. And where does that leave us? Will we have jobs? Will there be jobs? What will we do with our time? These are questions society is not prepared at all to answer. We talk in the United States about universal basic income. We will need literally to tax AI and redistribute the wealth, to every person. It can be a great future. I don't think it's all negative. I think if we design it right, if we engineer it right, AI can actually make our lives much richer. Because a lot of people work at jobs that they don't even like. They do this work. They don't like it. What they like about their job is socializing with other people. But the actual work, they work in a factory, they serve people at a restaurant. They'd rather not be doing that. It's repetitive work. What if every human being could choose what you do with your life? You can create art. You could do your own research. You could spend your time with your kids or your family. Many families now are working so much, the parents don't even have time to see the kids. So there may be a better future. It's not all negative. The beautiful thing about AI and the beautiful thing about life is it's yin-yang, right? It's for every positive thing, there's an equal and opposite negative thing. And what we have to do is figure out the balance. We have to figure out the balance with this new technology. Because the technology's here, it's going to reshape every one of our lives and all of our society and every job on the planet. We and you as the next generation, it's up to you to come up with the solutions to the problems I'm pointing out. Every problem I'm pointing out can be solved. We as a human race can solve every problem. We as a human race have the potential to make AI make our lives so much richer and better by taking all the drudgery out and allowing us to do what we do most, what we do best. And it could be a wonderful evolution of humankind, but only if we make it so. So, my last question to you, and this is you have to answer this. I am only allowed to pose the questions. What should we do? I've given you hopefully something to think about, and we will have a discussion now where I want to hear what you think. Where should we go with this technology? We are at this inflection point because the technology is advancing so fast, right? Think about AGI 5 years away. Think about that and where we are now. We haven't even begun to address these questions. None of what I talked about here has been addressed. Nobody has any answers. So if you are thinking and you really want to have an impact on the future, I hope some of you will start to talk about this. Try to work this out. Try to figure this out. Because now is the time. Thank you. I'm Captain Hoff, CEO of Founderspace, the leading global startup accelerator. I'm also author of the award-winning books, Make Elephants Fly, Surviving a Startup, and The 5 Forces.